And welcome back to Central Michigan University, where we will be seeing your Central Michigan Chippewas facing off against the Eastern Michigan Eagles.
I was like, I know their mascot, but I was like, where are they, the Eagles?
And we are getting straight into game number 1 here. We're going to see the band phase right away. We see a Mel band right off the bat. We see Diana get an early band here. Interesting. Straight out of the jungle here. Mm-hmm. Just going to try to get rid of, obviously we see Mel, the one trick. We do see Varus, another one trick band.
Very good to see, yeah, because we saw a lot of virus usage by EMU, so it's good to just get that out of the way right now.
And we do see the Jarvan and Vigo pick. Once again, banning, that is 3 of 4 total junglers, all banned right away, as we do see the Maokai pick come out. Most likely either usually Maokai plays support, but
yeah,
he
Maokai
is a very versatile brawler. We are going to see Teemo, most likely that top laner. Very annoying with those sort of burst traps, but he's got to be careful as he is one of the squishiest of the tanks up top.
And we do have a lot of problems up top where we keep getting counterpicked really easily because we'll usually go for more glass cannon-y types, or we'll have like Alawi a lot of the time, and then they'll pick out for range. So it's good to see some mix-up going on, but we do have to be careful with another glass cannon type. I do see the Echo coming in, which is definitely going to be a very interesting
He's
pick.
got those
yeah.
The auto attacks are very strong with him. We do see the Wukong out of Riot, who is going to be that player for today. We are going to see an Aurora pick, most likely going to be playing to the middle, and a Lux pick. That is going to be interesting, as the Lux pick is most likely going to be a support. We do see the Orianna ban come out. Not terribly shocking, as Waffle Pig has had a few games on Orianna. Not terribly shocking overall. We do see the Yasuo ban. That is an interesting ban out of Eastern Michigan, as Yasuo is usually the person you want to be picking if you are a back 2. Though I think they suspect that there has not been a mid laner picked yet. It's going to be an encounter that's going to be determined on just pure skill. You're not going to see a great amount of individual talent out here.
Yeah, and a big thing as well is with the Poppy. We have to be careful because we've had Poppy come against us quite a few times from the enemy teams, and every time Poppy seems to be the thing that makes or breaks the game for us, because the moment that Poppy gets ahead in top lane, it's over. So we're going to have to be very careful around her, I think. That's going to be causing quite a bit of issues, if at all she comes near top.
Because I do think we're going to see Poppy in the sports
world, though. We have also seen, though, with the last game, there was a big rotation where bot and support had actually swapped up to top lane. So it's once support starts roaming, that's when we have to be careful, is more so what I mean.
And as you mentioned, Maokai is one of those champions that can play both top and support. One of the few people that can do that just because of how tanky he is. Overall, what do you think of the top matchup that we're going to see? Teemo's going to have to adapt here if they do that flip, as you said, between Poppy and Maokai, as they do play very differently here. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that it'll definitely just be like, again, as we said, Teemo's just very squishy, very easy to just take down fast if you get like in range and all. And Poppy is exactly that. Poppy is just big bruiser, going for it. I think that would just be the main thing to worry about, honestly. Just how it goes. Poppy just terrifies me at this point. Little girl's got a lot of spark in her.
Yeah, big bruiser that is one of the smallest champions in the entire game physically, but does hit as hard as some of the bigger guys. In terms of in the jungle, we are going to see most likely an Echo versus Wukong matchup Wukong is a very difficult champion to play against because of his clones.
Yeah,
And
the clones can be
especially
very
Echo.
confusing.
And especially as Echo, you've got to be careful about not swinging on those clones because if you waste a cooldown ability on a clone, that Wukong can really tear you a new one.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it'll be interesting as well to see Aurora and Lux both being more distance as mid laners often are. It's going to be a game of seeing if we can stun the Aurora. Because usually, I'm assuming it's going to be Spindle in mid lane again, because Spindle's usually been there for us when we have this team up. We've been seeing Spindle using Aurora a lot lately, so having it in Lance's hands instead, I'm hoping that that'll give them an advantage because they're going to be used to used to using that. So maybe it'll keep them a little more prepared on how to go around that.
That's very true, and they actually scale at pretty close to the same rate. Both Aurora and Lux both get that slight power boost as soon as they get their ults. I think it's going to personally come down to because both of those champions build such expensive items, it's going to come down to who can get the highest CS or who can get the most final hits on minions.
Yeah, I will say that Spindle does have a good habit of keeping a very high CS going compared to, especially, we tend to have a period of time where we'll fall behind in it after a while, but Spindle usually stays pretty on top of it for the most part. I don't think it'll necessarily be that as an issue. It will just be, how the actual fights begin to go, because we also know a bit about their jungler has a habit of liking ganks, I believe we found, right?
He does. He likes to jump in. He usually doesn't like to do that, though, until he gets vision in the other jungle, because he does not want to be sort of reverse ganked and have an even matchup.
Yep.
Especially since Wukong struggles with that CC ability. He can't really get out and get a whole bunch of damage all at once. So he's going to try to focus on that. So I think they have a good window here between 1 and 3. If CMU can get that first blood in either that top lane, because Teemo is not the strongest early in the game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If they can get that, if they can avoid getting that first blood against the Teemo or against the mid laner, they're going to be in a great position here.
All right, and we're seeing that we're loading in now, and it always throws me off a little bit when we are coming in from the red side. I will not lie. But here we are. It looks like we're once again going to try sending everyone up at once.
Here.
They do see Waffle Pig, but I don't know if they've noticed Drywall.
They probably will not be able to see him. As you can see on the screen is what the spectator can see. However, there is not full vision. Zero sitting exactly where he needs to sit there to sort of get vision. In this early stage, as you can see, everybody's as close to the middle section or the river as they can be, because you're just trying to get a ward, which allows you to have vision even when you're not standing.
Yep, and as we see, Dry's already putting that vision down just right away.
We're going to see an early channel here. He's just going to drop off. Minions have spawned. That early phase is all about vision, and now we move into the actual CSing, trying to get those last hit on minions. Oh, we may see KingofSkywings maybe stepping into an ambush here. He is going to drop off. Ezreal is just going to have to bide his time. He does not have to engage right off the bat, as it is his E, so that will be most likely his second thing he builds.
Yeah, I am seeing just a lot of interesting rotations on where everyone's going. Not really following that starting with the minion wave thing, because we do see that's Riot right there actually taking in, hopping in, getting a good...
Very good flash there.
Yeah.
He's going to be most likely bomb out. He does. Very good engage there. I believe they're trying to take that red buff. And what red buff does is it boosts the physical power move. So it makes Wukong much scarier. And it denies Echo that ability to need it, because he does need that red buff as well in order to be totally viable in the jungle.
Yeah, because the red buff and blue buff are definitely the main things that you want to be getting out of those jungles until at least the first dragon spawned in. And unfortunately, all junglers know that if they can steal both of them from the start, it's amazing. But our jungler usually doesn't try to invade camps, because it doesn't usually go well for us. It's very common for our jungles to get invaded, so it'll have to be keeping an eye out for that, because we do see that Wukong is still in our area.
Yeah, ClemClorp here going to take a little bit of a beating there early. KingofSkywings is going to have to cut down and get a blue buff. Not as good for Echo, but he's still something he wants to do. He's going to have to try. As you can see there, he's trying to pull it away to make his next camp faster. The name of the game in the jungle is all about efficiency and clearing those camps fast so you can go gank and so you can go do other things at that same time.
The quicker you can get that route done, the quicker you can be an assistant to anyone else, and then by the time everything's reset, hopefully you've gotten a kill or two in and you're just back into the motion.
Definitely. ClemClorp taking absolute beating. It's not just a sliver of health in top lane, as we are going to see Mawtea and Spindle sort of just sit in the middle. Interesting, as we're going to see the support taking more of a central role. He usually sticks with. Oh, we do see Teemo's getting taken out by Poppy. I believe it was under turret even as Poppy came around. Both the supports, neither of them are actually in their line. As did you see Mawtea playing that sort of solo bot lane?
Yeah, I was gonna say that they did do that swap that I was mentioning where Poppy went up to top lane. Zero went down to go against Rudigou actually, who is their mid laner, is down there. It's just a full-on rotation anywhere they could go.
Definitely. We're going to see ClemClorp here. He's just going to have to come out. He's going to have to try to get a full wave clear without, though there are no Eastern Michigan people. Aurora did drop off. She did recall to buy an item. So she's going to be taking second. She also picked up Oracle Lens, which is interesting. We mentioned that was the Vision Wards.
Yep.
Oracle Lens allows you to be able to see the wards that the other team puts down. So it's usually right after you see that Skywings just going to try to clear the camp.
And it's actually interesting. We have invaded the other team's camp already, which usually, again, isn't something that we do, but we do see Lance popping in. Ooh.
There's the critical part of Vision right there. And the risk with invading.
Is that happening?
Yeah, exactly. He had 4 people converging on him. They did not have quite the vision they needed. And so he did not really see it coming. Nothing you can really do about that.
Because at that point, he was just too low health. One good hit, and he was out.
Exactly, especially from Aurora, who does all that damage being a mid laner. And with how she already has a good part of her first item here. As we're going to see Rudigou is just going to try to size up with Mawtea in bottom lane. He's just going to try to stay even. Mawtea does not really have the champion to try to engage. We are going to see a little bit of a team fight, 2v2 here in the middle. As we see Mawtea is going to try to drop back. He is going to unfortunately go down to Poppy, who does Ignite, getting those grievous wounds here. We are going to see Rudigou. He's just trying to stay even. He's a little bit behind.
I was going to say, we're already seeing a bit of a level difference going on. Especially with
dive here. We do see it.
Oh,
Spindle's
yeah.
going to be forced to dodge out. He's going to get a good kill here. He's going to trade with Zephyr. There's Poppy, apologies, before he goes down to Wukong.
Which is good, taking down that Poppy even for a moment. That's what we want to see going on, because Poppy's the one getting the most kills so far, holding half of the teams. Oh, but Lance taking down Clem while we weren't even looking.
That would be an 0-2 in the top lane. Not something you really want to see, but it is okay. We may see KingofSkywings here go for a gank, as he is. We are going to see a forced flash, exactly what you want to see. How is the gank well?
And Mawtea coming in.
Here. Mawtea may have a good opportunity here to maybe get a kill. KingofSkywings does get Ezreal before.
But it did get taken down in response, yep. But it looks like Riot's going to be taken on by Spindle and Mawtea. Good route there from the Xayah.
Kill here. Drywall Boxer is going to be forced to drop off. Spindle's going to be separated here from Mawtea for just a moment, but they do decide Drywall Boxer. So he's just stepping in to try to save his mid laner, which he does successfully.
Good support right there. But yeah, it's definitely just the supports have rotated to help mid lane. Good use of vision.
We do see the Oracle ones come out there being able to see any of the... Oh, we are going to see Poppy jump to a wall with a flash. Mawtea's going to try to take off. Unfortunately, Aurora does poach that kill from Poppy there, who does the majority of the damage. But it's, as a support, your job is not to get kills. Your job is to damage people.
And let the ADC or whoever you're helping to support get that final kill, because that's the name of the game at that point.
You're not trying to take any gold. Your items are like half as expensive as anybody else's are. So your whole job is to just sit there. As you see Poppy using her passive there, if she hits somebody, a star will come off, and then she can heal from that, which is why she is so tanky. As we're going to see ClemClorp here, he's going to be standing off his wave, which is an interesting idea. If he's off his wave, he cannot receive XP, which in turn makes that level gap much harder to surmount. KingofSkywings is going to try to solo a Drake, though does not appear any of the Eastern Michigan
Not contested so far, but it does look like the Wukong is waiting or already handling grubs right now. Yep, slaying the Boeing grubs, yep. Which those are going to help a lot with the tower, taking down towers. It'll help with a lot more damage there, and once they have enough, they can actually start spawning void grubs to help eat at the turrets pretty much, which at the end of the day, the whole point is you have to get through those turrets, so it makes sense that if you can't get the raw damage output, you might as well just go for that. Oh, it looks like they did a tower dive on Clem very quick.
Yeah, we're seeing them. They're traveling in packs, which is not something we usually see. A very rare thing in the map. We are seeing 2 roaming supports going back and forth. Usually we see one and they try to win bot lane. Mawtea maybe coming in here just to sort of sit in the stead and not let that Ezreal build up too much gold by himself. But we're going to see an interesting sort of dynamic with the 2 roaming supports. Not something CMU has done, at least
No, we had the one where we tried to rotate to match where the top and bot lanes were last time, but other than that, we won't really see much support movement until at least usually at least minute 12 or so. Oh yeah. God, just with 3 people there, that was. Ouch.
Rudigou is building a little bit here against the Mawtea. May have an opportunity. Unfortunately, Skywings was caught topside. That was a brilliant opportunity there for a possible gank.
Because that stun there had been beautiful.
The Arco is going to channel. In that bot lane, it's key that you mirror the other support. So that neither of you guys gets too big of a gold lead. Though the CS is a little bit...
We're seeing a bit of a disparity going on already, especially in top lane because of Mawtea moving down to bot lane.
Definitely, we're gonna see, as you can see on your on the bottom of the screen, you can see those numbers: the 71 from Mawtea, the 25 from Teemo. That is a good indicator of how much gold they have right now. So the gold difference, which you can see at the top of the screen, just on the outside of the 11 and 2,
just about 6,000 gold difference. Yep.
That's a full item mostly. I'm very suspicious the Aurora probably has a full item up, which I'm looking now. She does pretty much. Oh, she's very close to an item. Within probably 1 or 2 more minutes, she will have her first item. Spider here is going to just have to remain even. They are doubling him in the middle, which is not a really experience that I've been in a ton. If you have anything to say about being doubled in the middle.
Usually I don't see it until much later in the game because mid lane eventually becomes where a lot of the action happens later on because it's just that immediate push down to the center of the field. But again, it's just... I think maybe once or twice we've had like where the junglers have stayed in the middle more so instead of actually going to gank because they were hoping the other jungler would leave eventually. But usually the support has stayed away or even gone top lane for a while. So this is definitely a new circumstance, and I think that trying to adapt to it is part of the issue of what's going on.
You may see a possible gank here out of the Echo as he's going to step up.
Coming in.
He is going to get rooted, unfortunately, by Mawtea with his ult. I believe that's what his ult is, as he unfortunately gets rooted.
And is going to just head off to Kumar clearage.
That middle, that is called
Scuttle.
That's called Scuttle. Apologies on the.
No, we haven't had to talk about a Scuttle in like months at this point. But Scuttle is just a roaming one that either side can get. It just.
Access Award. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great little guy.
Access Award shifts a lot. He's great for vision because he's an unkillable ward once you do kill him.
And then you get him.
Yeah. You're just with him for, I believe it's close to 2 minutes. Unfortunately, Lance is going to get another kill down in bot lane. And he's going to step up. It's going to give the Mawtea a good opportunity to drop back. He probably has a ton of gold as he's not been back in a while. And we do see him pick up Spectre's Coil, which is a good anti-mage item as it provides a lot of magic resist, I believe.
Which is definitely something you want to have with multiple mages on the field right now.
Indeed, as we're going to see Spider's going to be dropped back to the turret. You do not want to typically be under the turret if you can help it because the turret often hurts your CS.
Yep, because it's going to get a lot of kills on the minions faster than you can just how everything lines up. Like right there. We just saw one more go. So it's a game of you have to beat out the turret and then also worry about if any like enemies are coming on you. And that also means that usually you are out of minions to defend your side. So while you're trying to deal with minions, you might have the enemy like just team starting to chip away at your turret while they're waiting for you.
Straight back into that bot lane. Unfortunately, going to go around right away. Aurora is sort of just sitting in the jungle. It puts a question to the vision because usually you have vision in your own jungle due to the jungler just placing wards because of how active EMU's been in the opposing jungle. They don't have those wards.
Yeah.
Which makes those kickoffs
because like we can see a ward right there from blue team in our side camp or that side patch right there. Yep.
And KingofSkywings is able to sort of head off the Aurora. Aurora is up by a lot, and we will most likely see him engage here. He does.
Oh yeah, that's
see
that
that 3-level difference.
Yeah.
Half a health bar. Rudigou's going to come down to help him.
Oh,
okay. We're going to see a team fight here. Maoka's ult just completely clear across.
And we see that there are 4 people in the area. They're going to take that turret down, I'm sure.
Yeah, they can't really engage there. It's not a winnable fight. Poppy is probably going to see a tower dive here. He's so aggressive in these situations. They are not.
Oh, and it looks like Aurora got an off-screen kill on Skywings, which is...
That's going to be very interesting. We're going to see Waffle Pig going to cut up here to sort of just get rid of a camp. They're trying to starve out... they're going to try to starve out the Echo here. They're going to try to remove as much CS as possible and try to just push him off and try to not let... The Waffle Pig does get a kill there on the Lux after taking the...
tower dive once again. They have been just consistently in packs this whole time, as you mentioned earlier. And it seems to work out for them well for the turrets because the amount of damage they can get off before the turret can like send it back at them is just impressively fast.
And we have seen Zero, the Maokai, as you mentioned with them switching lanes. We do see the Poppy and Zero going to switch lanes here. Echo maybe setting up for an ult here. As you can see, the shadow behind him is how far he will go back if he switches. Though he is not going to. I think he thought the Teemo was going to follow him. Teemo obliges to try to clear before he does. Though we may see a push here. Teemo needs to get in there and provide some sort of, though he does pop a flash, he is blinded, which will severely augment his ability to fight.
But it looks like Skywings has to back off because they're just getting dangerously low right now.
And ClemClorp does take a turret shot. He is going to put down his ult, which will sort of discourage anything from that Maokai right now. It is a big goal difference now, probably a full item in every single lane. Zero KingofSkywings tries to get a similar tower dive from what we've been seeing and not quite able to do it, as we do see a one of the abilities on Maokai going to pop it up. We do see that
we've got Otacon forming.
We do see Otacon forming in the middle, as we're going to see in the mid lane. They're getting sort of flanked. You see Poppy coming down. Lance is going to get another kill on the Rakan here, as we're going to see a 3v1 here in mid lane. KingofSkywings is going to come help try to relieve it a little bit.
Honestly, kind of slowed down a little, but I do see a lot of vision usage over here with them trying to like clear out any jungle vision that we have on our own side. Just make it even easier for them to just initiate fights right like that.
Exactly,
they're just
like
popping and going in for
and we're going to see Aurora here is going to help assist with the tower dive, I think.
Yeah.
As you do see it, she does go invisible for a second. She is going to jump on and pop her ult and just try to get out. Unfortunately, I'm not sure she's going to be able to.
And it looks
as
like we're actually getting a
Rakan,
shutdown, from Mawtea.
it's important that the shutdown happened because it provides a lot more gold than a regular kill does, and it provides it stops the snowball for a second. And with how high level it is, the respawn time is going to be a lot higher. They'll usually Spider coming in ready to another fight.
I do believe that Lance have had like the highest just bounty on their head too, because of those 12 kills that they have to their name.
Red turret does go down, and they are now on the last line of turrets before their obviously inhibitor. Yeah. Rudigou and Spindle is going to have to drop off. He just doesn't have the health for it. Unfortunately, with how squishy heroes he plays with the Lux, with the Xayah, not usually the tankiest heroes, not people that you can usually make a lot of mistakes with.
Yeah.
Which, that Spider, he's been great when he does have even matchups, as we're going to see. Fortunately, Echo is going to go down once more in a suspicious team fight. One thing to mention a little bit is the Wukong is going to be playing a ton more aggressive now that he has an item called Trinity, which just boosts everything about the hero pretty much. It really allows him to build a full fight, as we're going to see ClemClorp here is going to get dove under tower. He may be able to, no, he's not going to be able to get out, unfortunately, as we're going to see Xerath get a kill on Wukong before going down. Wafflepig is going to get that kill on Teemo once again. We are going to see them try to converge and just save the turret. They're not quite able to, as we are going to most
once
likely
again,
see.
another turret has gone down. It looks like from here, is that all of our turrets gone? Except for in the base?
That it does, yeah. As I thought we were going to see a mass recall here from EMU. They are going to get that one
and
kill.
they managed to get Echo in the corner.
And Aurora gets Lux once again. I believe that's her third or fourth kill just on the Lux alone, as they are all going to channel now. Spider is going to just try to maybe disrupt it a little bit, though. Now that they are going to go back, they're going to have so much gold. A lot of them will probably be at half build, which means they have probably 3 full items, as you can see down with the Aurora. She has 3 and boots built, which is increases her speed.
Yep. You always go for the boots sooner or later. You got to get faster somehow.
It's very true, especially with Aurora, she's a spellcaster, so she's squishy, but she also definitely needs to get in close to pop her ult and be able to use some of her abilities that require a lot more.
Yeah.
As we see EMU's going to take this Rift Herald most likely.
Just riding Lance are going to handle that alone very quickly. Get that Rift Herald buff, get even more. They're going to use that probably right on one of our main.
I think they're going to go right down the middle if I was them.
Yep.
Though they may be looking to go top here. They do signal that they are going to go top.
Because top is currently the most unfocused on, because they're so busy dealing with Zero, who's level 12.
That's true here. That's the luxury you face when you get up to level 12, when you have like a 2-level lead, is that you can cause such a big attention, especially if you are a Maokai or another big tanky guy that just
You
just
can
can't
handle
kill
so
him.
much on your own. And yep, it looks like we do have 4 of them up in top lane, with the only one not being there being 0.
We do
and
see a
here
good-
comes that Herald.
He's going to take out the inhibitor, so super minions will begin to spawn in that top lane. Poppy does take out the inhibitor. A good route there. They got to get another one here by the Lux.
Oh yeah, and it looks like they wanted to quickly get more turret damage, but they actually managed to get that Rich Herald taken out just in time, because that would have done a chunk of damage to our final defense. Absolutely. Seems as Skywings
He has a pretty large wave there. He's
happening.
going to have to drop back here in a second. I think he's just trying to get a turret down.
But unfortunately, he's kind of got a lot of people at home. He's got visitors.
He definitely has visitors on this Nexus. As we see the Aurora pop there, Aurora is going to get Rudigou once again, just absolutely being the fate of the existence. Timo is going to get killed there on Wukong. Very good for him. As once again another turret falls, we're going to see drywall the Poppy once again going to take it out.
And then Zaya goes down too. Oh yeah, everyone except for the Echo is gone. And it looks like he is going back now as he's realized that his home is completely undefended, and he's going to...
KingofSkywings is going to have to just try to put up something here. He's going to get ready to pop his ult. I'm suspicious as soon as he gets caught in the Poppy. Yeah, there it is. As he's going to pop it, and there's going to be doubles here. Both the inside turrets are gone. He's just going to take a Xerath's not going to let him. That Maokai is just
okay,
going to be
good use of the Lux ult right there from Rudigou. I did like that. Got them very low on health. Honestly, they could keep it standing for a little bit longer. We've got Spindle and Clem coming up, staring at
Spindle will be able to take out
It's not a
forward.
losing game yet. We are still in the running until we're down, we're not down.
There is the Lux going to get the kill. One thing to note, now that they're down on level, is they will get something called catch-up XP. So they are gaining more XP per minion compared to what Eastern Michigan's, and it's very significant because of how fast. Recently I was playing with a Master Z who fell way behind at level 4. We were all level 10, and they came right back within like 5 minutes. So it's very possible that they could get level.
Yeah, because again, now we see already we've hit level 10
level
through
12
12 on everyone,
which will match almost everybody except for the Aurora, who's level 14.
The Aurora and then Zero, who I think had maybe reached level 13 by now. Oh, and Ruinous Otacon has spawned top, which does make sense because
they will most likely take a quick breather to get it, unless they're going to just push in here. They are going to see ClemClorp's got to back up, as they are going to see a teleport right away. It will be the Maokai. Lux and them are waiting for him to spawn. He is going to just drop back. He's going to pop that ult to try to get a massive route. It's a slow-moving ult, and they is going to get Timo. It's going to get hit. They're just going to focus the Nexus right now, and that will most likely be the end of the game. Unless they can get something guard, they're just going to force him back in ult, and that will be the end of the game here. End of game number 1 for CMU. Eastern Michigan to put up a good effort. Central Michigan, there were some good spots there, definitely, for Central Michigan.
There was definitely some like really good play there. I really liked watching all of that go down. We did see, the Aurora was absolutely the main hitter going on there. The 17 kills and then 5 support. That's quite the feat to go against. I definitely think that if we see an Aurora ban next game, I will not be surprised in the slightest.
I could definitely see an Aurora ban.
Or at least an Aurora steal, if not.
Yeah, that's true. I could see. So you can switch. So you can play like if the top laner wants to select Aurora first.
Yeah,
that's a very real thing.
You can absolutely just take
switch.
whoever you want and swap it around. And especially because what we haven't been seeing, but what happens in the background is they do the pre web pick bands. So they actually are picking it, and then by the time they're doing it in front of the screen that everyone else sees, it's already in the order that they actually want it. So we don't actually know the order in which things were picked and banned and what was like a counter pick to what the other teams did. But we could absolutely see them immediately either steal or get rid of Aurora. Which another thing I do want to note is actually Rudigou was our mid laner the whole time, not Spindle as we initially noticed, because I noticed that partway through. Spindle was actually our Zaya the whole time this game, which could have been part of it. Because Spindle's been the one playing Aurora, but because Rudigou was the one going against it for so long, that could have been part of what threw it off a little too, is it wasn't that pre-experience that we were expecting. Especially because then all the rotations too, honestly, we're throwing a lot of things around. But I think it'll be very interesting to see how do we adjust to this next game if we have those rotations again, or if everything's going to go a little more typical from here. But I suppose we'll have to see that after the break.
Definitely, and we will be right back here at Central Michigan. We'll come back with some changes, maybe some ideas. We will be right back.
All right, and welcome back, everyone. We are hopping right back into pick bans. They've already done all their draft stuff. And it looks like already we have got a Varus and Italia ban going on.
Not terribly shocking. They do Varus one trick once again. Not terribly shocking. We do see the Aurora ban.
Which is exactly what we wanted. That Aurora thing was the last thing I mentioned, and I'm so glad it's gone. We do have Diana banned again from EMU, which...
He's a jungler. He's if you can learn how to play Diana, she's very dangerous.
Yeah, once
EMU
Diana's good, she's good. Jarvan banned once again along with the Viego.
Maybe do have another one trick.
Just some consistent getting rid of the one trick. Looks like we're going to be pulling in Alawi as our top lane. Once again, something that we are familiar with. Only issue is going to be if they pull any range against us. That could be a little bit dangerous. Looks like they have an Ivern coming in top lane.
So Ivern is a very interesting. He's generally a jungler. You don't see him outside of jungle almost ever. We are going to see the Lee Sin pick, who most likely will be the jungler against a Mumu.
Yeah, which, again, a familiar, safe option. Along with that Mel for our side. And we have faced a couple Orianas, Ben Oriana. Just a solid move.
I do believe Rudigou probably wins that matchup, as Mel does have a Reflect that is devastating against the Oriana. And the only thing he's got to avoid is once they hit that level 6, that ult is devastating the Mel because it pulls you in. There's not much you can do. We do see the Wukong ban as suspected.
And then an Ornn ban, which we have used a little bit.
Interesting seeing how we know that the jungler's already been picked. Ornn is generally either a top laner or a jungler, and Ornn is going to get banned. We do see Poppy ban as suspected here.
The other one that had made it broke it.
We are going to see, I believe, the Corki. Yes, we do see the Corki get picked here. Not terribly shocking. We are going to see a Twitch here come out of Spider, who is playing bot today. Twitch is very interesting. He's like a true assassin. He can go invisible, and he just does poison damage, which is devastating to Corki. We are going to see the Pike with his execute ability, which on Twitch and Rel, who are both not terribly high health,
can be very dangerous because you're going to be at executable level very quick. We do see that Rel is also a familiar side. So it looks like CMU is going for a lot of safe options today, because the first one they were mixing things up a bit. This is going to be a bit more in their familiar zone of, we know these things, we know how they operate. Let's see if we can rely on old tricks, because right now the dog is not wanting new ones.
That's very true, but the thing I'm interested to see is how will that top lane work out. I have never personally seen an Ivern versus an Alawi. I've never seen an Ivern versus a big tank. Usually you see an Ivern picked as a jungler, and then a terrible matchup comes up top, and then you're like, okay, I'll play Ivern up top and let Set run around in the jungle. Yeah. But usually we don't see that. Ivern, he is very mobile to be a top laner. He doesn't quite have the health pool that you would expect to see out of a top laner, but he can fulfill some of the things you're looking to see. Does have that DPS, is ranged, as you mentioned, very important to be ranged in the top lane. Yeah. And especially against an Alawi.
Yeah, very good counter against the Alawi, especially because isn't Ivern one of the ones that EMU is actually very fond of?
Ivern is the main pick out of Zyro, who is... he's an Ivern main. He's usually plays jungle, though. That's what he's good at. That's what he's a master's at.
He's in the top lane right now, too. So that could do it. It could be, hey, I'm familiar with this character. It is in the jungle, but I know how to make this work. Let's see if we can bring it into the top lane. It could be a completely new decision for them right now. Because one thing that we haven't really mentioned is a lot of these people are ones that are returning from last year's season. So they've got a lot of them have a year of synergy that they've built up over time. And while some of them aren't the same ones, like Lance, who was the Aurora last game, they were actually a returner from last year. They've got a lot of just time together. So even if it's an equal amount of playing time in general, having that team bonding already in advance is going to be much higher than this team where we've had quite a few rotations already. That's
definitely true. It's good that you mentioned the experience there, as League of Legends is such a team-based game. Yeah. If you have even one weak link, if your support isn't good, it causes things to change for the jungler. The bot lane obviously shifts massively. It even causes stuff for the top lane.
Yep, because you're not going to have that jungler. If the bot lane is too weak, they're going to get more support from the jungle, and even maybe mid-focusing a bit sometimes. Yeah. If it's that down. So it's absolutely the synergy that you have with your team. You have to be on top of that, because if you can have like we saw with Eastern, they had a lot of pack movements where it was groups of 3 doing tower dives together. Doing stuff like that and having pre-planned moves you can do when stuff happens on the map. Or hey, they're taking dragon, which means we all need to go quickly do this instead. Those kinds of things are what gets you from a team to a good team.
That's very true. It's something that we definitely need to mention with the teamwork is in this game, we're 100% going to see a tower. I think we're going to see an invade early. Because they have the Ivern, the Lee Sin obviously will have this engage very early.
The double jungler options is going to be very painful.
They are going to see an engage right off the bat. They're going to try to pick off KingofSkywings early. In terms of avoiding that, it comes down to pure communication. They've got to get a ward out early, and they need to be able to recognize that there is probably an invade coming. Yeah. Because of just who they've picked and who they're looking at. Amumu is... He's very mobile. If you know how to play Amumu...
Very mobile, and I will say that we have had a lot of good time with Amumu in our, in our history with him. We're slowly forming that little, dragon ceiling compilation, which I especially love. But, yeah, he's definitely someone that you can just get really quickly as well is the only issue.
Definitely true. Amumu is one of the rare junglers that turns into a tank lane game. His role completely shifts from something less of a jungler and more of a top laner.
Yeah. In the beginning, though, you have to be very careful.
That is very true. And he's going to have a weird niche because Alawi is that regular old tank. So we're going to see here that they are going to invade top side here. The Corki, they're going to do a little bit of a split push. The Corki's going to try to just put down that ward. Pike combined with a few others, they're going to try to invade topside. As we see, KingofSkywings, he's going to use an interesting strategy where he's going to ward it, and then hopefully he can see the other team.
Please, I hope he sees that.
Hopefully he sees it. We're not totally sure. He does not see it. He will have the support of Rudigou here. We're going to see a giant. We are going to see that invade was coming, and it does happen. Corki does enough damage it early that will most be a kill. First blood happens very easily here in the first minute. That's that recognition that the CMU is developing. They're getting better and better at developing that. We were talking to them in between games. And they're talking out things. They know more things are coming. They can sort of recognize that, and they're getting better week by week, which is what we want to see.
Yeah.
Because as you mentioned with this EMU team, this is their second year they've been together. And so these are the kind of things that you don't see in the first year. You don't go with full team invades in the first year, or at least early in the season, because it requires so much teamwork. You have to know exactly what's going to happen, and you need to have somebody in the back that really can command stuff. KingofSkywings is going to be back up really early. That's that level 1 timer to get back is
2 seconds gone.
The main thing, though, is going to be the gold difference here early, as killing a kill does give you 300 gold, which is a building block for your first item. It's not going to be quite even half your first item, but it's going to be a good building block.
And even just that's getting you closer to that feat of warfare, where once you get those the first 3 kills, that whole team's going to get that feat of warfare, which definitely just very good to have, just in general. But definitely. No, absolutely what you were talking about with all of the team building and knowing that and understanding that. We are currently at the phase where CMU is rapidly gaining experience and understanding every week. It's like an exponential curve, honestly, where we're seeing that rapid change week by week until eventually it's going to just be the minute, fine-tuning. But right now it is definitely, we're seeing changes that we weren't before.
Mawtea is going to get engaged here on Pike. Pike is one of those heroes they have struggled with because of that engage. We are going to see Rudigou here take a little bit of a chip there from Lance. Maybe a little more than a chip here, as he's going to be forced to back up here off that minion wave. But overall, Pike has been somebody they've struggled with because they haven't quite gotten down that understanding of the execute. But I think it is improving more and more. We saw it with how they didn't struggle as much last week with it when they were playing it. And I think overall he should not be as big of a problem as he was, as Lance is going to come try to steal a camp. Amumu is going to get forced out of that jungle. Very good timing, though, for the Amumu sort of moving out. As you see the Orianna Pike, where they're going to sort of steal some buffs, is going to get out. They are going to try to proxy a wave here. Proxying a wave is when you try to steal a wave before it even gets to the front line. And so it discounts any ability to sort of be able to get any XP from that wave for the laner.
We've seen that before. I know Wazoo and I were talking about it just the other day, where there was a Rammus that just constantly kept proxying the wave. We didn't have the term for it, so we just called it really rude. But absolutely, it's a very good strategy, honestly, when you think about it, because while they don't have the minions backing them up on with damage, once you're at a certain level, it doesn't matter, because you're just gonna keep pushing it.
See, KingofSkywings here is gonna engage. It's most likely will be a kill here. They're going to at least force a flash, which is what you want to do.
Watch out, though, because
KingofSkywings goes in a little too late there. In that situation, what he did was very good. That engage was brilliant. How he did it, it's just that little bit of an ending factor that could be improved. But
it was a few seconds off on the timing, and honestly, if we'd had a little more help from Rudigou being a bit too back, which it looks like Lucen got the feat of warfare off of Rudigou, unfortunately. probably from remaining in that area for so long. I think if Rudigou had been pushing up forward at the same time, that would have helped secure that kill in time before Leden got there and was able to get that quick execute. But again, it's just something that you have to fine-tune over time, and the team is constantly learning, when do I have to push with my teammate, when do I need to back,
ClemClorp here, unfortunately getting get rooted. As you mentioned, that Ivern pick, a little bit interesting. KingofSkywings is going to come up here for a gank. If he can get engaged here, they will be a trade. Very good out of KingofSkywings. He's going to have another one here in just a second. He does get it. Possibly a kill here. Unfortunately, Leden, the Riot, is going to come straight up. He may be able to grapple onto a minion here to sort of escape. Unfortunately, to come up. A sort of triple here that's going to push that wave in and then back.
Because we had seen a third person coming up too from there.
The Pyke is roaming very heavily. We are going to see Mawtea sort of just try to take a different angle on this. He's sort of just going to sit in the middle here, maybe trying to gain something called priority. Priority is when you can push a wave in and force them to either back or just not have enough health to fight. And that allows those openings for the dragon to really come in.
Which is good because I do believe the dragon has already appeared. So
yes.
It's just going to be a matter of who's going to go for it first and who's going to go for the grubs, which should either already be there or come very quickly.
Yeah, so grubs will be there in just a minute. As you can see, you probably it's a small icon, but with the little hourglass on it, it means it's almost there. As we do see, I believe that's the water dragon. We do have a little bit of a pause here. It's going to come right back on. Maybe just a small technical issue. That's totally fine as we get into it.
Yeah.
Maybe a little not. We're just going to... We got a lot to talk about here. What are you breaking down here in the early part of the game?
I'm seeing a lot of movement just going on. I do see as well, like, as we were talking about, who is going to take that initial invade on the dragon. We see EMU came in, and we have Mawtea coming in to act as a backup support. Doesn't really look like it's being contested quite yet, but I do see Leden steadily approaching, so I may be wrong on that.
We are going to see maybe the dangers here of trying to take Drake without priority here, as the Orianna is not going to roam, and the Mel's going to sort of stick her there, which is very important.
Leden did just walk by, but it looks like it's pretty to go for a bot.
The Twitch does get... Spindle gets a very good kill there on Waffle Pig. Very important, as Corki is one of those heroes that outscales Twitch. Not really. The Twitch sort of outscales Corki there in different ways. The Twitch has a lot of single target damage. He's going to probably... There's not really a great opportunity here. The Leden will be an opportunity for him to get those great single target damage. And that poison is just so annoying for people late in the game because of how big that effective and how wide he can. King of Skies is going to invade. Is going to try to go after Lance here. He is three levels down. He does force the recall though there. Very good. Pyke is going to come up to help as we see once again that traveling in packs, which is an interesting strategy. KingofSkywings is going to come in.
Going to start going to the void. Has to be careful because I do see quite a lot of the enemy team around the area.
Amumu's going to have to try to get out. He does have the ability to grapple over walls, which is something that most Amumu's do very easily. As sort of gives a get out of free card. Pyke here is going to be coming up. You see a bunch of signaling. Alawi is going to come. KingofSkywings. He's going to have to try to get over that back wall using his grapple.
Oh, it looks like he's trying to stay.
He's going to try to remain. KingofSkywings is going to go down. Mawtea. He's there a little too late. Very good trap there by Rudigou though to sort of keep him there. As we see that Oracle Lens come out, they are going to steal blue buff as well. ClemClorp going to just sort of have an opportunity here to try to steal a wave. He is going to back. He probably has a lot of gold here to build probably the first item. I would assume we're about 7 minutes in.
Yeah,
that's when most people start building that.
Getting a good enough amount of gold that it will be helpful to start getting items going. Definitely not backing for the health there because the health is very good right then. Just overall.
As we're going to see Rudigou and ClemClorp here are going to both just sort of step up. They're both coming out of spawn. Leden is going to get a big kill there on Amumu. Sort of predicting Mawtea is going to try to stay in. He is going to get swamped though, and Mawtea is going to go down to the Leden.
And Rudigou just realized they have to back right there because with 3 people just in our side right there, you can't engage on that.
Unfortunately, I think Twitch, they've got to communicate right now. They should have vision right on that turret. Twitch may be stepping into an ambush here a little bit with the Pyke. They're going to stand there waiting for a tower dive, I think, which is not something they see as they see all 3 of them since around. Actually, they're just going to try to take turret plating. Turret plating provides much needed gold for most of these not terribly high
And it goes away after a while, so you definitely want to get it while it's early. And when you have an opening like that, you're just going to go for as much as possible. But yeah, they've got enough health taken down on people like Leden and all that. We're going to be forcing some to back. But unfortunately, it looks like Waffle is going to remain. And Dry was channeling...
we're going to see them pop the ult. Not pop the E, apologies. As we're going to see both, I'm just going to have to try to clear out this wave there. I believe the Pyke is going to back. Using those very cheap support items, we do see Lee Sin, he's going to build up Eclipse, which is his first real big damage item, as it just sort of boosts his damage all the way around, and it is super dangerous when you get a Lee Sin to get built. If you feed a Lee Sin with heals.
Oh, okay, they're getting 0.
ClemClorp here is going to have an opportunity possibly. He is going to tag.
There was a good shield from 0 there.
Ivern in there does have that sort of survivability. The only thing that makes him even sort of playable in the top lane is his survivability. ClemClorp here is going to try to sit and just try to farm this minion wave up. We do see in the middle here, Mel's going to get jumped on, I believe, by the Pyke, and we do see the kill there. Lee Sin. The Pyke and Lee Sin are working together a lot. Not
I was going to say, there's been a bit of a team up there. We've seen a lot of rotations because we've got our jungler and support working together, but we've also seen that our top lane has rotated down to the bot lane.
He's going to take off here.
Top lane, yeah.
Unfortunately, so Twitch should be able to get a good kill here on the Pyke, possibly. There's a winning matchup as Twitch, I believe, is level 6 now. So, in the level 7, apologies. So he does have his ult, which allows him to go fully invisible and do a lot of critical damage out of that. Mawtea does go down, unfortunately, to the Lee Sin. Lee Sin is now fed, so they've got to avoid it as Lee Sin gets another one tower diving directly on Twitch. And King of Skies is going to force him back. Nice thing is King of Skies is actually tanky enough that he can survive a lot, as we see there.
Yeah,
gets
that was
pulled in
quite a
and
few
just
hits.
walks out. Amumu, as we can see there with his tankiness, I bet he's building tank. If I take a look, he is. He does building boots. He does have his first item. It looks like he's probably building Heartsteel, which just sort of makes him bigger and bigger and gain more and more health, which is something you definitely want to see.
Something we need when we're seeing so many pack movements going on. If you're going to have to walk into a bunch of people fighting one other person, you're going to need to at least be able to sustain for a little bit.
It's very true.
You can continue pushing forward. We are seeing again a bit of that level disparity going on, especially in top lane. There's 2 level difference right now, which isn't the worst.
Oh, here's got like his flash, yeah. And then they're going to have priority now to be able to take the dragon if they want it. We are going to see 0 here. Going to just push up. He's going to use that Ivern bush to channel it, which is interesting. So they now have priority. I think they're going to try to take the Void Grubs here. If you're CMU, they do have a man down, unfortunately.
They do have to be careful as well because we do have Mason just right in the area who's going to just wish us away and kind of start taking it over ourselves with themselves. Staying in the area, which is dangerous.
Maybe
as more
trying to
people
steal here. So we're going to see the Ivern pop his bush ability. As we see Spindle here, he is invisible currently. Nobody can see him except for his own teammates. I think they were debating an issue, maybe tried to get a steal there with the Twitch. Decided it isn't worth it, as it probably would have been a for sure death for Spider, as he's going to be forced to step out. The one thing with Oracle Lens is it does reveal Twitch if he is invisible. There's nothing he can do. If he walks into the radius, instantly revealed. Same thing with any of the illusions that may be at play, which nobody on this team has any illusions, so that's lost it for you.
There's no illusion playing. We don't have to worry about, like, I don't know, like the Wukong clones were a big thing we're worried about. Looks like
Skywings, he's going to step out. Yeah, he's going to step out of it. Skywings is going to force a flash out of Waffle Pig, ClemClorp, and Skies have such low health. They will have it. They've got to get under turret now to save one of the 2 of them. They are going to just grab that Lee Sin turret, and he's going to survive. ClemClorp using that durability. He does. Unfortunately, they both go down as Lee Sin gets a double there as Ivern kills the Twitch. That will be most likely that outer turret cloud for CMU on that top lane.
Especially as Drywall is coming back down and help finish it off really quick, yeah.
Yeah, they have that priority in top lane.
Too. And quite a difference going on. You're seeing a lot of just gold differential, which is honest. It's being seen in like the items being built and all. Just a lot of a disparity beginning to form between the 2.
Indeed, and we do see Rudigou is not really winning his lane, but in neutral, where both parties are shooting, he is doing the best you can expect. That a mid laner that's 2 levels down, he's actually doing better than I would expect. Oh, we are going to see King of Skywings here, going to run after 0, who is it's an Ivern, so he's a jungler, but he's also
supposed to be the top laner.
He's supposed to be the top
laner. He's going
laner.
to hop in and try to take damage on the Skywings, which we see.
He's just going to jump in directly on the Ivern. It's an interesting choice. You know, he's 3 levels down. He will have his EQ here back in a second. He is going to go down, unfortunately. 2 as Orianna takes a turret down in mid lane. If you're CMU, I think you're on full damage control. You're going to try to utilize that comeback XP.
Yeah.
Where you're just going to sort of absorb the pressure. You know you're going to probably lose another turret. And just literally try to build up minion waves and just get something. Yeah. Look for those opportunities to try to get exactly like Spiders here trying to do right now.
Trying to get that CS up, especially because we can see that we've fallen behind in every lane up. So we definitely need to be prioritizing that right now. Looks like we did get another takedown on our side with ClemClorp going down in a 4v1 that was. Which
we're going to see, we may see opportunity here as we're going to see a 2v1 in bot lane as the Orianna, Mumu, and Twitch are all within range to be able to, as well as Mawtea coming straight out. We're definitely going to see at least a little bit of a fight here as Mel gets a good kill there on Pyke. That is very solid out of Mel. As we're going to see, they're just going to claim vision in our jungle, which is not ideal. If you're CMU, Mawtea's going to trap off. Not much you can do against a Corki.
No, and we see that Riot and Lance are all just right there too. We've got most of the teams just hovering right in this bottom area of the jungle and just waiting to see if anyone's going to initiate anything because we see that.
Say KingofSkywings does have a pretty good engage here if he can hit it. He does not decide to do it as there was 3 there. It's debatable who would win this account over.
Oh,
we already see it forced.
The
issue here is forced. KingofSkywings is just gonna stick on him. He should have his ult possibly to pop it. He's not gonna. He's gonna get pushed off.
And they actually managed to shut him down, which is definitely good.
And
they're just going to push Lance upwards, doing that control where they're starting to take the pack tactics that we were seeing a lot from Eastern and using it against them. Which is definitely why I want to. Drywall did jump in, did quite a bit of damage on KingofSkywings and popped right back out, but we got quite a damage on it and actually took him down.
Definitely, that's a little bit of a resurgence here for CMU in this part of the game. ClemClorp, he's moving into where Alawi, he scales super well. So if she can make it to this part of the game, we see it.
Yeah, we see Ivan in our
You're going to
the
see a
top
teleport
part
there.
of our base.
Rift Herald is available now, but I'm not sure they're going to take it as we do see that inhibitor go down for CMU. Super minions will not be spawning, which at the level that CMU's at, super minions are
It's going to be a very dangerous game to
a
play
very
against.
big problem. KingofSkywings is going to try to clear out this wave. Overall, CMU got to find more points where they can do it. Mawtea's shocked he does not go after this top wave. As we're going to see them all, they're going to drop back. They do have enough gold for probably another item if you're EMU. But yeah, we do see the drop back there from Orianna.
It looks like they're just going to recuperate, get like some more items building. Yep, we immediately saw some items being bought by the Orianna. They're using up that extra 13,000 gold that they've gained on us, and they're going to use it to their advantage because, hey, if you've got it, you might as well build it up before you make a final push somewhere, yeah?
Definitely. As we look down, we can see Ivern has almost a full build as we're going to see KingofSkywings get sort of tripled there. There's only so much that a Mumu tankiness can do. Mawtea's going to be forced to drop back. We may see another one. Zero's going to face off ClemClorp, boosted up by his ult, which is that little golem that you see on your screen. As we see, Drywall Boxer is going to be just sitting in lane while they're going to try to push now. They're maybe looking to try to even end as we see Spindle is going to get a good kill there on Pyke. Pyke at this level, not really that dangerous in terms of just actually doing damage. You're just looking out for that execute.
Yeah, that execute, it's like a one-trick glass cannon then.
Exactly, there's not much you can do, unfortunately.
No, it looks like they're continuing to take our camps just a little bit longer as they've already pushed us so far back that it's kind of easy pickings at that point, but we are doing really good at keeping defense going on around our base right now. I do see just a lot of just
Ivern
back
utilizing that, utilizing that golem pretty well to sort of support himself, and then he's going to drop back. We aren't going to see him come out of here. Not something we want to see. Especially, we just didn't drop back. They're going to take Rift Herald, which forms as sort of like that bunker buster.
Yeah,
in that first
to
turret.
break down one of our own final turrets in the way, and then they can just crash our inhibitor in a few hits without worrying about that damage.
Definitely, if they can try to keep it alive, that's going to be the key. Spindle here is going to take, as we mentioned, those opportunities to sort of get ahead. I mean, get even now. He's going to try to take out that wave by himself. Twitch, not the best at wave clearing, but he can do it when he needs to.
Using the poison seems to help quite a bit.
As we're going to see Rudigou here, that's the dangers with the jungle. We are going to see a very good reflect out of him.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to, unfortunately,
get caught
by all 5, and this is what we were worried about with the cut up middle as we see all 5 of them are going to cut up. I think Ivern probably has his ult back by now, which sort of makes it 6 with that blue golem.
Guy. And they've got the Rift Herald that I'm sure they're going to be
There it is. It spawns in.
Spawning it in right in front of that
And
turret.
we do see the golem as well. There are essentially 7 members of the Eastern Michigan party.
And there goes that turret so easily from that Rift Herald.
And here comes the Rift Herald, going to go straight after the inhibitor as well. Lee Sin gets a kill there on Mawtea as Corky gets a kill there on the inhibitor. Unfortunately, they're just going to try to push back.
Yeah,
the Rift Herald is still alive, going to take a good chunk out of that inhibitor. Pike gets a kill there on Twitch. Corky gets a kill there on Mumu. Oriana gets a kill there on Mel's before Twitch takes down Lee Sin.
Uncontested, yeah. They've got Mawtea coming in a second, but it's not even going to matter by the time they're there.
That will most likely be the end of the game for CMU and the end of the match as a whole.
On a 2-0, it'll be going to the Eastern Michigan University Eagles.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Fortunately, overall, I think we saw a good improvement, though, at a CMU in general. Obviously, we saw a little bit, we saw him switch up a lot of things. Spider was playing in the bot lane. Not something I think we've seen all season from him.
I think maybe we've seen it like once. Spider has been moved around quite a bit, which has been very impressive, and I've liked seeing all of those change-ups going on. But they are definitely mainly our mid laner. That's where we try to keep them, and just having them rotated out of there probably threw a bit of it off. But again, they're trying new things every week. They're trying to figure out, can we make this work? Okay, let's try this. And I like the experimentation, especially because, like, as we're seeing, they are changing up things in ways that are starting to, like, show heavy signs of improvement. I think going for so many familiar picks did help quite a bit in keeping, like, anything going, because we had so much that people were just familiar with already.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It may look like they're not improving, but there's definitely some improvement.
There's definitely been a lot of improvement. It's hard to see in an individual game, but when you're looking over time, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. If you look at even last week compared to this week, there were some things in that top lane that ClemClorp would have been caught by last week, but he recognized it and he dropped off. Especially with that ganks a few times when he was playing Teemo, he recognized a few things and he knew to drop off. And that's what you're looking to improve, especially when you are a newer player and you learn something new from every single game, and they're certainly learning a lot from these games.
Yeah, we have seen quite a bit of improvement, and honestly, we could hear a bit more from them during the player interview too, I think. So before we pull that in, is there any final things that you wanted to add on about what you've seen, what you're hoping to see, just anything like that?
Overall, good improvement out of CMU, unfortunately with the same result, but it is the name of the game here. Somebody's got to win. Yeah. So I will see you tomorrow for Overwatch, and I will be back.
Yeah, and I will be back here on a Friday League match, actually, that we'll be having back with Wazoo. That'll actually be at 7 instead of 8. So you'll be here tomorrow. I'll be back in 2 days, not 3, because that Saturday game got moved up. But one of us will be right back in a moment with that interview, and we'll see you in a moment.
And welcome back to Central Michigan, where we have your new coach of the League of Legends team. We have Austin Williams, good friend of mine, and overall going to be a solid caster. So tell me, Austin, what draws you to the game of League of Legends?
Honestly, it's just a really fun game that I grew up playing with my friends and family. I mean, a lot of it was just like, it was the popular game around. We tried it out. First, didn't really know much. Got flamed a lot, but that kind of drove me to actually become more involved in the game. I started tuning in more Twitch streamers. I really enjoy one Twitch streamer personally. His name's Kadrill. And that, it just snowballed, and now it's just a big passion of mine.
Definitely. So I know you were watching the game today. What are some things, in terms of like the overall season, what are some things that you're going to look to improve as the new coach?
One of the biggest concerns of mine is probably the drafting phase. I feel like there's a lot that can be gained from like just the fundamentals of, hey, we want to pick this champion. What do we have in terms of the early game, the mid game, the late game? What building blocks do we have to build towards throughout the game? And how can we play from behind? I mean, there's a lot of moments where, sometimes the games feel really unbearable, but there's a lot of game mechanics that can kind of help you catch up from that losing position. And I want to try and, explore a little bit more of those, hopefully, helpful variables.
All right, so the last question for you. What kind of player are you just in-game? I know you play jungle a lot. You've been teaching me a lot in terms of my gameplay. So what kind of player are you?
I am a huge jungle fan, absolutely. I love the macro aspect of the game. I feel like that is the most important aspect, especially like going back to what I was just saying, playing behind. You have to know how to macro. Where can you find those small victories that eventually lead you up to that, destroying the enemy's nexus? It's a lot of... I think jungle is the most thoughtful role where it really, you got to be thinking about every moment of the game and how you can be the most efficient.
Well, definitely. Well, we are excited to see what improvements you make towards this back half of the season. We will be back tomorrow. We will have you with Overwatch back here at 8 o'clock as usual. I will be back with Sean to cast that, and stay with us here. We are excited. It has been a fun day, and we will see you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Fire up chips.